Well, good morning, everybody. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, ZMH 286, Patricia and David, and we have just reluctantly turned off the Canadian Grand Prix from Villeneuve in Montreal. A very exciting race, a beautiful course, and a beautiful day up there in Canada at the moment. But we will. David was thinking, well, maybe we could just tell them we'll come back in half an hour. It's halfway through the race at the moment. And not too many surprises. They're still around about their pole position, and Hamilton is back in about 5th place. I think he started on 4th. Anyway, good morning to you. We had a beautiful, beautiful weekend here in Gulf Harbour. Well, it was good on Saturday. Absolutely blue skies and sunshine, and 18 degrees it got to on Saturday. And yesterday was a bit grey, but nevertheless we didn't have any rain, which is good. We had a good weekend, about the first one in 5 weekends, I might add. But it's not going to be a very brilliant week. But for those waiting to go, it will be a great week, according to what I've heard. But we'll wait a quarter of an hour to hear the detail on that one. But at the moment here at Gulf Harbour, we have 13 degrees, 1016. It's sort of oscillating a little bit. It was sort of heading upwards, but I think it's going back down again. 2 knots from the south, but it's very different outside. We are a bit protected from that sort of wind here in the bay. And looking down, we look towards the west on the water. It's protected here, but definitely I can hear it. And David said it's definitely different outside. So probably people who are wanting to leave, hopefully have got everything organised and don't have to do much outside for a day or so. But anyway, good morning to you. It's cloudy up there in Whangarei. Good morning to Eagle's Wings. 1014 on their bar up there, so slightly lower than here. Okay, there is a report from Ogia in down there in the deep south of Fiji. Nice day down there, northeast 4 with only 10% cloud cover. And Obsession reported beautiful up there at Big Mamas in Tonga. 5% cloud cover going to 27 degrees, so the warm weather has definitely come to Tonga, and 0 to 5 from the northeast. So yeah, you've got it's definitely improving looking at the satellite picture, which you'll think, thank goodness for that, because that nasty low has been really making it not very tropical up there in the islands. I do hope that you folk in Suva have had a good weekend to be able to sort things out after the big blow a couple of days ago. So thanks, Anthea Vanuatu on the southwestern side. We've got a report from Anthea, 80% cloud cover over there. Better go back to that satellite picture, but not much wind. So there you go. Good morning, everybody, and we will. There's a few other reports in. Wind chase, interesting one down there, but that was yesterday. They are at Norfolk Island. And they haven't figured out the internet access there, but all you have to do is get an internet card, and hopefully they'll be able to work that one out. Public holiday, I don't know what the public holiday would be for. Must have to look that one up over there and see what's going on in Norfolk Island. The Aussies, I think they still have their own holiday system, even though they're part of Australia now. Anyway, good morning to you. Is there anybody that wants to check in or tell us something from the islands? Please call now. Oh, we've got a few there. We've got Taranui, Liberation and Trigger. We'll start with you, Graham. Taranui.
Good morning, Patricia. Good morning, David. We're at Canusa with the we have a light northeasterly breeze and about a 50% crowd cover. We had a couple of showers of rain last night. Over.
Oh, a couple of showers of rain last night, but it's nice up there at Canusa in the Vavau group, light northeasterlies and about 50% cloud cover. Thank you for that. I'll see where Bill is now. Liberation, Gulf Harbour.
Good morning, Patricia. Liberation is at 9 Yari. We have 10 knots of southerly, 10 knots southerly, 90% cloud cover, and 1015 on the bar.
Okay, well, it's a bit cloudier over there. I'm just looking. Oh, yeah, it's not too bad, though. Nothing evil about the cloud over you at the moment, just a bit of leftover. 10 knots of southerly at Naigani, 90% cloud cover 1015. So not too bad in Fiji, doesn't look too bad in Vanuatu or Newcastle either. But there's a bit of stuff coming towards Samoa, I see. Good morning to you folks up in Samoa. We haven't forgotten you. So thank you, Bill. Sounds good. And we'll go to Trigger. Where are you, Chris? Oh, Suva's not very good, but we your radio is interesting. It's pretty light, Chris, but don't be too panicky because Suva is always a bit of a trial with all of the competition around for signals. And 90%, yeah, it's a bit soupy looking in Suva, so we'll take that as a 90% and not a very strong signal from Trigger this morning. All right. That was a good roundup. Haven't heard anybody from Vanuatu yet. I shall just update my yet. Oh, and that reminds me, folks, Gulf Harbour Radio and YIT, where you report your positions, are two separate entities. If you need any weather, please contact us directly. If you do it via the website yet, then you will have a delay in response because Mike then has to forward it on to us, and depending on what he's doing, that might not be too quick. He does have a day job. So please, if you want any weather, contact Gulf Harbour Radio directly. It's GHradio at extra.co.nz. Gulf Harbour Radio, and that's the same as our website, which is ghradio.co.nz. So if you want weather, just do that absolutely directly, and that will speed things up for you. And you will need to do that in July because I won't be here, and David will be doing any weather that you need via email, seeing as he doesn't have his weather, his radio technician here. So please make sure you've got that email address right if you need weather. All right, I'm just scrolling through, and there's nothing from Vanuatu yet. Anybody in Vanuatu copy us this morning? And gracious lady, whereabouts are you guys? Over? Boy, that radio is not that great, is it? So next time you have nothing to do in a day, you'll have to look at particularly the grounding and the connections. Didn't copy quite where you were, but see if you can tell us roughly where you are again, just the major island. Over. I think you said Malakula, and I hope if anyone else is listening that they would correct me if I'm wrong there. So thank you for that. It doesn't look too bad up there, so you'll be listening to what the forecast is going to be for Vanuatu over the next week. All right, it is winter up there, folks, and I was reminded about that when I read in the paper that there are 200 different respiratory viruses that can cause cold symptoms. And of course, you all think you've escaped the winter here in New Zealand, which of course you have, but it is still winter up there in the islands, and they love to shake your hands, and you will know that there's not a lot of places in the villages where you can wash your hands. So the only way around not picking up one of the 200 different respiratory viruses is to wander around with one of those hand sanitizers in your pocket, and make sure on the way back to the boat you dribble your hands in the salt water to try and get rid of all the things that you might have picked up.
Put your arm in a cast.
Put your arm in a cast, yes. Yeah, it was actually an interesting article in the paper because, of course, there's a million different potions on the market that you can guard against colds, and really, you know, they're actually debunking vitamin C at the moment. But the one that does do you some good is zinc, evidently, and probiotics, strangely enough, because your gut immune systems are very important when it comes to fending off colds and flus. And there is a sort of a maybe on vitamin D, but there you go if you want to try and do something.
Vitamin C is still good. And when I was a kid, my mother, who was a registered nurse, she worked in the OR, but we always sucked on zinc tablets, just let them melt in your mouth, and that tended to kill off the germs.
She did know something, didn't she? All right. This is going to be a very abbreviated, well, not too abbreviated, Gold Harbour Radio program this morning, because for your interest, the Canadian Grand Prix is on at the moment, and we will get back to watching it after we finish here. Hopefully it will still be going. There's not an awful lot of news actually to report because, you know, on the weekend there's so much sport on that they don't really report anything else except for the big conference tomorrow in Singapore. So the paper is absolutely full of that. But for those interested in Scott Dixon, he has won another race. That's his second in a week. He won the Texas IndyCar Series, and that was after Detroit last week. So he is now third on the list of all-time greats after AJ Foyt and Mario Andretti in the Indy Series. So he's doing really, really well. Unfortunately, Hartley is out. Don't know why at this point in the Canadian Grand Prix. So we'll find out. And of course, there was the huge game here in Auckland on Saturday. The results, I really don't want to give you the results. New Zealand were 52 to the French 11, but all commentators, including the New Zealand coach, said that the French were robbed, which goes to show what happens when you have a British referee. But there was a French player yellow carded, which means they were down one player. Absolutely, the French referee did not call in the replay to make that decision, so they were down one player, and of course that allowed the New Zealanders to take off. And then there was a double bad too high tackle by the New Zealanders, which was not called. So even all of the commentators in the papers and on air are saying that the French were robbed, and that it was a very, very poor show by the referee.
As they say in baseball, we was robbed.
We was robbed, yes. Well, I don't know how you say that in French, but anyway, the French equivalent. So apologies to the French. I don't think that British referee will be asked back for the second test. Anyway, it was a beautiful day, a beautiful night for it here at Eden Park. Okay, is there anybody else wanting to give a position or a report of the weather before we move to the major roundup?
Good.
All right, here's David.
All right, good morning. Well, the main weather news for today is the depression that we've been forecasting now. That's coming south nearly right on schedule. At dinner last night, it was roughly centered at 29 and 176 east. That's 29 and 176 east. And it's spinning merrily away, well developed. It should be near 35 and 177 east by around dinner time tonight. Now this puts it more or less to the east of Opua. By tomorrow, it should be directly over the North Island, or just about over the North Island. So now last week, we indicated that Wednesday may be a departure date, and so far this may very well be the case. There is a possibility of a secondary low now forming northwest of New Zealand. In fact, you can see it on satellite imagery spinning around there. I was not able to get a microwave swath, but you could see the clouds in a cyclonic fashion to the northwest of New Zealand. But as it heads in our direction, it's slowly projected to weaken until it just simply loses organization and gets absorbed. So it will be a non-player in a day or so. Now, we don't know how many yachts are left, Opua, Marsden, or wherever, waiting to depart, but those that do can expect westerly quadrant winds. Then by late Friday into Saturday, southeast winds up there around 25 south. Now things look reasonably good through Tuesday the 19th, even Wednesday. But there is a new depression and quite a nasty looking cold front that's going to attack New Zealand. But if you do depart, by the time that gets to New Zealand, you'll be well north, and that isn't going to be affecting you. So back to the departure brigade now. As the low nears, it's bringing very strong winds to the area. Gale warnings are up for Brett and Colville. And we're looking at southeast 25 this morning, but 40 knots right up around the Cape Brett area and east of Cape Brett. Tuesday, westerlies about 20, easing late to variable 10. The variable to westerlies around 10 knots. So that is Wednesday. It gets much better on Wednesday. So for those that are ready to leave, Tuesday afternoon, there is possibility, but it's going to be fairly rough out there. Wednesday does give a much nicer departure and a chance to maybe get those sea legs in action. So if it were us, I think that's what we would do. We would wait until Wednesday. If anybody's at Minerva, I don't think anybody is there. But anyway, a trough has recently passed right through there, and there's lingering effects still prevailing over the reefs. Winds by lunch should be around northwest 10-15. Leaving for Tonga is not a good idea today if you are there and just listening. So not good today or tomorrow really, but Wednesday in fact looks pretty good. The winds will be fairly light, southeast breezes I think, and then easterlies by Tuesday. So that would be the time to make your break from Minerva.
Tuesday tomorrow.
Yeah, Wednesday is the time. So if you are underway and you want more details of weather, radio in after I'm all done here, and we'll try to zero in on your location. Okay, taking a look at the tropics now, we find a trough that's running from the Solomons, nearly reaches Rotuma, heads right in that direction, not quite there. Another trough extends from the New Zealand low, and it goes just to the southwest of Fiji, and then right on toward the Banks area of Vanuatu. So a lot of the cloud that's in and about that northern area of Vanuatu is coming from that. Another trough runs north almost along 175 west, runs north right along that longitude line, and it then involves Tonga in the process, Nui Tukatapu as well. And then it goes onward to just west of Samoa, not over Samoa, but just to the west. Now, Samoa does look pretty good on the imagery loop, but there is a convective area that's moving toward the islands from the northeast. You might be able to see it if you look off to the northeast. Now, whether or not it gets to Samoa could very well do so. Now, moving to Tonga, this morning is basically, well, they've been washed down by a weak trough. There are quite a few breaks in the trough, so today will be quite varied. Cloud, showers, sun, a mixed bag. Winds look through lunch to be around northeast. In fact, the reports now are northeasterly, so that's all in agreement. And they will be about 10 to 15 knots. Now shifting later this afternoon, I think, to east-northeast. And the wind looks like it's going to pick up tonight. I would say east-northeast, might get up to about 20 knots. Then a slight ease, so anticipate east to east-northeast on Wednesday in the 15-knot range, so it comes down. So tonight, a little bit breezy, cool off the boat perhaps. Fiji also sits under a very weak trough. Areas such as the northern Lau are quite sunny, but the Levu, Kandavu areas not as lucky, looking at the loop. So today is going to be variable in terms of cloud, sun, showers, that sort of thing, off and on. The winds are going to be light to moderate. If you actually draw a diagonal northwest to southeast, right through the middle of the group, those areas to the east of that line should have easterly quadrant winds, and on the other side, south to southeast or so. In fact, we got one report from Bill there. I think he called off southerlies. So that pretty much is in agreement with the models. Now, these airstreams obviously are of different density. The ones east of that line are warmer and much more moist. to the one on the west. So you can visualize the convergence of these airstreams, and remember that when you have different density streams, they don't mix, they clash, and up they go, and that's what gives us our cloud. Oh, and we promised to include Samoa in the discussion. We've given you an idea on satellite imagery. Wind-wise, mostly easterlies, give or take, in the 15 to 20 knot range. Tomorrow, I think the winds are going to pick up. Expect, I would say, east-southeast about 20 knots. In fact, this continues right through Wednesday as well. Vanuatu is also a mixed bag of cloud and sun. Now, we mentioned the Banks area. Right down to Santo and Mayo, we've got some cloud there. You can see it on the imagery. The southern edge of the weak trough that we mentioned earlier is the cause of this. Now, on the loop, I can see cloud also drifting over Erromango and Tana. And from Afate to the north, expect east to southeast breezes, 10 to 12 knots, not much wind there. Lighter air to the south, actually. The direction is pretty hard to determine, but mostly southeast, I would say 5 to 10 knots, and more or less the same tomorrow. Over to New Caledonia, the loop shows partly cloudy conditions, plenty of sun in between, pretty light air today in the southern lagoon. I would expect southwest 10 to 12 for Ile de Pan, and probably west to southwest near the Five Isles. So a little bit of variation on direction, but fairly light air. Later, say early evening, I believe we'll see a shift to northwesterlies. They'll be light though. They'll be in the 10 knot range. So really, weather looks excellent to explore the lagoon. The only change is for you is the wind direction. A lot of the common anchorages will be exposed to that west to northwest wind or southwest. So, but it still is calm enough where it's not going to be a worry. So that's it from me. Questions or comments come now.
Why?
Good morning. Why? Go ahead. Actually, I don't know your name, I don't think. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes, John and Ann here. And beautiful day. Saw Harvey area. Manamuku. Beautiful day. No wind. And 80% cloud cover.
Okay, thank you for that. No wind and 80% cloud cover. Yeah, it does look a bit cloudy there. It's sort of on and off for the day. But that's a good no wind feature for enjoying the Mamamukas. Fantastic signal, of course. Thank you very much for that, John. Anybody else? All right, we'll call it quits, and we know that there will be people getting their final organisation done. Just a couple of reports in. Fluenta are going to be leaving Wednesday, and non-stop, thank you for that. They're anchored off Atata Island in Tonga. Lovely, 25 degrees and a light northeast breeze, so Tonga's really turning it on today. All right, we're going to keep the streaming on for a moment because I want to do a bit of an experiment to see if it cuts off when I go to something rather else. So, but we will turn the radio off if there's nothing else. So we will be back again tomorrow. It is 100% cloud cover here at Gulf Harbour Radio, by the way. It's now light enough to see, and rain is coming. Oh, good. All right, that reminds me of our folk that used to be down there in the deep south of New Caledonia. And by the way, Sarani reported very high pressure in New Caledonia, 1114. I might correct that, Alison. 19 degrees there at Tuho Marina, or Tuho Marina. Clear skies. Okay, cheers everybody. We will be back again tomorrow. The frequency's all yours. Okay, now let me see if I can get this thing on and it's still working. Oh dear, damn. Betting things bad is back again. Oh, there we go.
I'm going to plug this stuff on and get the computer going.
Unless it's finished.
The race is finished.
Well, otherwise it would be on here.
I can't believe it'd be finished like that.
Hold it. No, it's not finished. There we go. This is an incredible website, folks. You get all. It's not legal, I don't think. It's all of the live sporting events around the world. I mean, it's got everything on it. It is, if you've got a pencil, livetv.sx. So livetv.Sierra X-ray. And if you go onto that, it's just absolutely amazing what is on here. The only trouble is, of course, a lot of it's from Europe and, of course, in the middle of the night. So here I've got it, and we may or may not still be looking at. Oops.
Carrying on where he left off at the end of lap 65, Martin. He's now taken another half of a 6/10 of a second out of Bottas's advantage. He's only 1.6 seconds back. Verstappen fancies second place here, his best result of the season. Hamilton looking leery on the overseas, just we get away from there, but 80 people, that sounds like Christmas and birthday all at the same time, doesn't it? Especially on a power dominant circuit. Sounds like HOPPY, that is for sure. Sebastian Vettel on board with him at the moment. He'll have led 209 laps this season. If he wins the championship, nobody else has led more than 90. In terms of leading the races, he is the dominant man in 2018. He is but a few laps away from leading the World Championship as well. Behind him, Bottas coming under threat.
Seems we're still on streaming.
Vandoorne to try and lap, and that's helping Verstappen catch up a little bit as well. Ricciardo still has Hamilton all over his rear wing, but Hamilton can't quite get close enough for a move. And 4 up to long. There you go. The alternative is, anyway. Trying to bring it over to flat what? I guess that means back off and enjoy yourself.
Okay, I'm going to put this off now. I think we can work, especially if I don't have the volume on, and then we'll put it on our big screen. Cheers all.